Good morning, and welcome to the third episode of Brewing with Company, the talk show slash podcast, or whatever the hell you want to call it, where a couple of average Joes drink a Cuppa-Joe and talk about pop culture and video games. Today's topic is a juicy one, I think. We're going to be talking about favorite video game characters. I'm one of your hosts, Gandalf the Grey's distant cousin, Randolph the Beige. Not a lot of books written about me, unfortunately, unlike that jackass. I have another famous person of the Shire here with me today. He wants to keep his name a secret, but I'll give you a hint. He's the world's tallest hobbit. He doesn't succumb to those stereotypes. He shaves his feet and he lives in a tall house. What's up, man? How are you?
Bro, I don't know how you just do this. I promise you, this man just comes off with this. All right.
I am quite literally nervously shaking. I'm never that way, but dude, I was like, think of something. Oh man, it might be the coffee, which is the point of this show. We drink a Cuppa-Joe. What are we drinking?
I am drinking some Kona. There was a sale. There was a sale at the grocery store nearby, and I almost gave away my location. There was a sale at the grocery store nearby, and it was only for like $25 for a decent sized bag. I was like, bet.
For anybody that doesn't know what, I can never pronounce it right.
Kona.
It's a Hawaiian coffee. It's stupid good.
Yeah.
It's very good coffee. And it is not cheap. So $25 for a medium-sized bag is pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, it was insane. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are not sponsored by any coffee, any coffee brands. But hey, maybe one day.
I would love to be one day. Oh my god! I got to make up better intro names if we're gonna get sponsored by anybody, but we're gonna figure it out. I'm still sticking with Bones today, but I switched up the flavors. I'm drinking Crusader's Cup because I was feeling a little Indiana Jones. I was feeling that. Dude, I've been feeling Indiana Jones lately. I watched Dial of Destiny. I was disappointed.
No, you didn't.
I know you told me not to, but I was too much of a fan to not have it in the back of my mind. I'll tell you what it did do for me.
What's up?
Crystal Skull ain't that bad.
Don't you remember when we were talking, I was like, it made Crystal Skull watchable.
I know. I agree.
And goes into our topic though about characters.
Honestly, dude, beautiful segue, because it's true. We're talking about more specifically video game characters today, but how important a character is, because you can have a great story, but if I don't like your main character, your protagonist or your antagonist, it's not going to flow well. And I think that is a big thing with Indiana Jones, is its identity has kind of lost itself on what Indiana Jones used to be in the 80s and what The Last Crusade ended his story on, which they should have ended his story on. But I kind of want to get in depth with that, man. Like the first thing is, I mean, there's so many wide varieties of video game characters. It's kind of hard to put a specific category as to what it should be. But I don't know, we're going from there. And it kind of brings into the question, there are certain games where, can you consider the environment a character?
Yeah. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy for one. Like the entirety of you weren't expecting that one. But like you could even say that Hogwarts is a character in of itself, as well as the surrounding area. And especially for us old school Harry Potter fans who, were at the front of the line at every opening of each book since Goblet of Fire, every midnight release, they didn't really mention much in the books about like the surrounding areas. So I had the most fun time visiting all the little hamlets that were around. Like I honestly spent probably over like 10 hours of just exploring every inch of the grounds of the map that I could. So yeah.
Oh, dude, Hogwarts. I think that goes for the movie as well, as that Hogwarts is its own character. They even kind of say that in the movies, if I can, I need to find a quote where they talk about Hogwarts being alive. I think it's McGonagall in Chamber of Secrets when they're talking about the Whomping Willow, um, in the book, where she kind of talks about how Hogwarts is alive and stuff like that. So I think, damn, that was a great example. I was trying to bring up the current example of what I'm
Yeah.
playing right now. If nobody's started or at least looked at Pacific Drive, you need to play this game, because this is a prime example of your environment is your character. You kind of play as an unnamed character, and it's a survival game, which I'm not a huge fan of, by the way. I'm not a big survival game guy, but this game is scratching the itch, dude. It is. Your car is your character, for one, and two, the environment around you. Not to get too in depth of Pacific Drive, but it's loosely based off of a book called Roadside Picnic, which inspired the Stalker games. Uh, Long story short, it's like, what if aliens came to Earth, left all their equipment, and then just left the planet? And then their equipment has adverse effects on the planet. And Pacific Drive is essentially that. And you rebuild your car and you go through, and the environment has these anomalies, and they do different things to your car. Like, if you turn right, you actually turn left. Or if you turn on the windshield wipers, it'll actually make you drive forward. If you put it in reverse, it'll make you drive forward. Like, it'll do different anomalies, will do different things. The ground will move up and launch you. Electrical clouds will come, different things. The environment is the character. The Pacific Midwest with these sort of alienistic things are the characters. So I think, like, when we talk about great video game characters, of course we're going to talk about protagonists, right? And when we get to our list of who our favorite game characters are, we're going to describe why we love those protagonists. But I think I can't rule out some of the environments. And damn, dude, you bringing up Hogwarts Legacy was spot on. Hogwarts is its own character. I mean, it's in the name.
Right. And then just another one that just came to me as you were talking about that. Um, Now the game may not be like the greatest, story wide, but gameplay was fantastic, and I just loved it. Do you remember the game Days Gone?
Ooh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. The environment was like I will say the story mm, left a little bit to be, in my opinion, left a little bit to be more. I don't know what I was going to go there, but I don't remember uh, recently having that much fun playing in an open world zombie type game. I honestly can't, like, the having the bike and having all like your weapons and all that type of stuff, and fighting the hordes and so and everything like that. I don't know, something about the way that they did that was perfect.
And of course, game studios canceling stuff. Days Gone 2 is canceled. I think, to bring it into the topic of characters, Deacon in that game, I think he was set up to be a better character than he was.
Yeah.
I think, the whole, he sacrificed saving his wife and all that stuff, and the twist at the end is not too bad. I think what made Days Gone's story weaker is it was too long. And some people will easily disagree with me. There's a lot of fan base for Days Gone, and I think it's rightly deserved. I'm not trying to, like, take a crap on Days Gone. It's just, in terms of environment, I think you're right. Maybe it's a survival thing that makes the environment more of a character. Like,
Mhm.
I gotta go find gas, I gotta find wood, I gotta find, like, in the survival genre. I think that's why I'm liking Pacific Drive so much, is because it the game really is the environment, is the character. Which, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to say when but I think it's easy to say that when you're also playing as a blind, speechless character.
True.
So I don't know. Uh,
Well, I would like to ask you, uh, Mr. What was it, Randolph? Was it?
Randolph the Beige.
I would like to ask you, sir. Uh, let's do a weird number. Let's do eight. Who are your top,
8.
right as of right now? Now I'm assuming that this list can change as we talk, or probably even by next week and whatnot. So this isn't like you know you're locked in here. But like as we're talking right now, who's your eight top characters? What do I want, protagonists? Should I say
I mean,
protagonists?
it could just be characters. Video game well, okay, if we're talking about video games, I think it has to be playable characters.
But then there's some villains that are so good though.
I
Okay.
mean, I will say side characters are very pertinent to the
Yeah.
hero's journey. They are very impertinent to the hero's journey. And I'm sure we could have plenty of examples of side characters being a huge. Let's take Resident Evil 4. Ashley is the entire point of the story. Oh, well, I guess Ashley is technically a playable character, so. Mm, I don't know. So, top eight. Does this have to be ranked in some way? Because I don't think I could do
No,
that.
no, because
Okay.
because I honestly I was just thinking to myself. I was like, man, I just said eight, and I can't like if I say the first person, and people are gonna be like, oh, that's your top favorite character of all time. Like maybe, but like
I
maybe
think
not.
I, I think I have a number one in my head, and I'll say that one last because and I think I have a what I would consider a valid argument as to why he's number one. But I'm gonna throw an easy one out there. Geralt of Rivia. I
Nice.
loved The Witcher 3. I've played the first two Witchers. Did not love them. Liked them. Did not love them. I know some people are like blasphemy, but I I I enjoy The Witcher as a series, but The Witcher 3 changed RPGs in general. And I gotta say, what is it? Doug, I don't know how to say his last name. Cocky? Doug Cocky, who voices Geralt in the game, does an
Sorry.
outstanding job of having that deep vocal um, and be mysterious. And I think Henry Cavill did a good job of portraying that
Yeah,
raspiness in
no,
the show as
yeah,
well.
the voice actor for Geralt was fantastic, and I'm the same way. I never played. I never played Witcher 1 or 2. I do want to, and I actually do have all the books I just got for Christmas last year, and I want to start reading them after I finish
They
it.
have aged.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have aged.
I heard that, but I know people say that they're great, so I'm a reader. So.
If you go into a lot of those older games with the mentality of like recognizing that they're older and the gameplay mechanics are gonna be older and these things, you can enjoy them a lot more. I've gone back and played older games
It's
that have
like
been
playing.
like recreated. All like I can play Shadow of the Colossus any day of the week. But let's see another character. Well, to be on, Geralt is. I think he does a great job of balancing. Hey, look at me! I'm a man. I'm getting the Witcher job done, and the compassion he has for Yennefer and all these characters, and especially Ciri. Speaking of side characters, Ciri is such an important role in Geralt's life and taking that journey to find her in The Witcher 3 during the Wild Hunt and all these things and the side missions. Oh, dude, I love that a lot of games adapted the whole side missions need their own story thing from The
Yeah,
Witcher 3. Assassin's Creed Origins did it really well. Ghost of Tsushima did it fantastically well. Even though the gameplay structure is the same, they do it really well. But utilizing your character to progress other characters in the world is kind of what The Witcher 3, I don't want to say started, but they kind of grandfathered it for
yeah.
RPGs with Geralt, and Geralt does a good job. Um, just because I'm an OG fan of the zombie game that started it all, Leon Kennedy, Resident Evil. I
Okay.
loved so becoming a fan of video games. Um, Leon Kennedy was like the first game character that I watched in full. I watched my brother play Resident Evil 4 when we were kids,
Hmm.
and that was the first time I had a character that was like, you can do this in video games. Like this is what the world of video games is. This is kick ass. Like stuff like that. I don't know. I give you two. Give me two.
Oh yeah, we can go back and forth. All right, cool. Yeah, so two. Uh, I, I can't start a list out without talking about my boy Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know. I just he is one of my absolute uh, favorite characters. Just his growth, his character growth over the I don't know what would you say, like 4 months I think of the game in like game time that you played
Including
it.
the epilogue. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I love Arthur Morgan. He is just a good man. Even if you play him as like a bad guy, he's still at his heart is a good man. That's kind of just I don't know. I can't clap enough for goodness. I know his name. Who's the
John Marston.
no. Who's the voice actor?
Oh, of
Um,
Arthur Morgan, Roger Clark.
I can't. I cannot give him his flowers enough for that. I think that was probably one of my absolute favorite um, uh, voice actor uh, performances I think I've ever heard in my life. I think he did a great job. And
You
then
know what?
that's
I think I'm gonna add Arthur
yeah.
to my list because I definitely agree, dude. He has probably one of the better story arcs in a long time. I think you could argue that there are game characters that maybe share or if not have better arcs, maybe. But I will Arthur. I love John Marston in the first game, but like John's not gonna make my top 10 characters list or anything,
No.
right? Like he's great for the setting that he's in. I would I would love a prequel of Arthur alone,
Mhm.
let alone another Red Dead game if we even need one. But I agree. I think he has one of the better character arcs, especially dude. Rockstar did just such an amazing job of when he's spoiler when he's dying at the end, bro. That was
Right.
like one of the few times. That's the ending that I did was where like he's laying on the ground, and I was just like, oh my god, dude! Like you feel the soul leave his body, and oh, dude,
And he even says in the like earlier when they're talking about how they would want to die and whatnot, and he says just lay me on a hill, or I think he said on a mountain and face me to the west so I can watch the sun. And I was like, man, or to the east, excuse me, so I can watch the rising sun. And I was like, man, that was beautiful writing right there. Um, but I will say another favorite character, and I'm throwing it back right now. Um, Jack, Jack and Dexter. I
ooh,
don't know. He's like, and I know he has his flaws, but I mean that's why we love characters, ones who have flaws. But I don't know, man. He's just like one of my OG OG first I think that might have been the first game that I ever got that was like a series that was like a story because I'm in my early 30s, so when I first started playing video games, I was playing with the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2, and then yeah, Jack and Daxter. So Jack, those are my first two, and like we said, this isn't like what's the word ranked. It's just the first two that came to mind.
it's too hard to rank these guys because like as I just talked about Geralt, um, I think I would put Arthur Morgan above Geralt
Sure.
and maybe even above Leon. But I think after as this list goes on, so like a third for me. While you were talking, I thought I gotta go with the classic. I feel like this is a cliche answer that a lot of people will give, but I'm a Naughty Dog kid at heart, and you just brought up Jack, so I'm gonna bring a Naughty Dog boy into this. I love Nathan Drake.
Yes.
I love Nathan Drake. I love the Uncharted series. Like I said, I'm a big Indiana Jones fan. And Nathan Drake was like the embodiment of that. I know he was the dude raider, quote unquote, when it came out in 2007. And
Mhm.
it was more of like, oh, this is mocking Tomb Raider, mocking Tomb Raider. I like pushed my brain away from that when I was a kid because I was like, no, this isn't Tomb Raider. This is Indiana freaking Jones, the video game. And I love it because it was not one, Indiana Jones, and two, it was like an embodiment of that without ruining an Indiana Jones story. And good for you, Naughty Dog. I love all four of those games with
Yes.
Nathan Drake. I said I know there's Lost Legacy, but all four of those games, especially the fourth one, dude, to kind of wrap up his story and the way he was, and you, I think a topic that's underappreciated when it comes to video game characters is allowing sequels to build your characters.
Yes.
Like Arthur Morgan is a great example of a one-off that works really well, but like Nathan Drake has the benefit of you play him in Drake's Fortune, and he's this cocky little douchebag of a man that's just trying to find El Dorado with his buddy Sullivan, and he learns that well, maybe it's not always worth it. But I feel like he does that same character arc over and over and over again. And by the third one, you're like, all right, dude, we get it. You keep leaving your wife for these adventures, and it's repetitive. And for some reason, Uncharted 4 comes in, and puts a perfect bow to make you forget all about that, right? Because then it shows where it's like, Elena comes in and she's like, "You've done this time and time again. This is it." When the game itself realizes it's repetitive and comes back and gives Nathan Drake a chance to collect himself and hit that retirement idea in his head. I love from start to finish all four of those games to bring Nathan to a close. So if you're going to bring a Naughty Dog, I'm going to bring a Naughty Dog. I love Nathan Drake. My other one, and I think more recently, I think he was always a favorite character of mine, but maybe not a top 10 until the good boys over at Santa Monica gave me Kratos. And I think, dude, I think Kratos can be accredited as at least one of the top three most developed characters over his time frame. And I would have never thought you could have taken the hack and slash sexist, beat the shit out of everybody Kratos from the original God of Wars and turn him into the fatherly figured, loving, I changed my ways because I was a terrible person of the past that he is in the God of War 2018 and Ragnarok.
Right.
Beautiful character development right there.
That's. I mean, that's. Oh, we're tying in a lot of stuff that we've already talked about into this because like you're right. That's one of the more beautiful ways that you can honor the past because it's not like he understands, especially if you. Well, I don't know. This may be a bit of a spoiler because of it's more recent, but the new DLC that came out for God of War Ragnarok, you can really learn a lot about Kratos's character arc, even all the way back from the first God of Wars all the way to now, and yeah, that's a great example of a soft reboot of a character, changing him for the better,
And
without.
God of War 2018 does a good job of like subtly recognizing his past,
Yeah,
but Ragnarok, brings up Calliope, brings up a lot of his old fights with his brother and Hercules and all these things. Like it does a great job of wrapping his story into the current vibe of what they try to go for. So
yeah,
Kratos, I got to think of we said 8, right? So
yeah. So that's four so far.
okay,
Um, I would say now this one may be a little different. I hope that a lot of people play this, but it's a little underrated. Um, have you ever played Telltale's The Walking Dead? The
I
character.
prefer it.
Oh, okay, cool. The character of Clementine. I love her. She is one of my favorite Walking Dead characters of all time. I mean, granted, I haven't watched like the last like three seasons, so I don't know any like the new characters. But as far as the video games go, as far as Walking Dead during the hype of 2013 time frame, yeah, I love Clementine.
Clementine, dude, I think Clementine alone, well, maybe not alone. I shouldn't say that, but Clementine was a perfect character to bring into that world
Mhm.
because she did something that the show kind of didn't, in my opinion. She brought this perspective of being a super young kid
Innocence.
in
Yep.
this. Yeah, the innocence was a little more than what's his name, Carl, right? That's the kid's name in the show. I don't know. Maybe it's a writing thing. I was not a fan of the show at all. I'm not a
It's
Walking Dead fan. Like everybody says, "Oh, first 4 seasons are great." All I gave it was 4 seasons, and it really just didn't hit for me.
it was a
Once they killed off Bernthal, I was done. Um, Clementine, dude, damn. That's a good one. That's a
yeah.
good one.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna throw this one in here. Now, I guess it just depends on your perspective. Because I mean, he is a playable character and he's a protagonist. But Shay Cormac from Assassin's Creed Rogue. I
Ooh,
don't know what. Like, sure, like he had a very short story comparatively to like some of the other Assassin's Creed protagonists. Um, and I don't think he's my favorite Assassin's Creed protagonist. But as far as if you're gonna say like if we're gonna talk about like just like changing up things new, like we've for I don't know I don't remember when the year that Assassin's Creed Rogue came out. What was that? Same year as Unity, but
It's
like
during the
anyway,
7 Years War. So,
yeah. So like, well, I'm talking about like in our time when it came out. Like, was that 2013,
oh,
2014?
it came out the same day as Unity.
Yeah.
That
So
was like
like,
part of the controversy was that it was like you released this next gen game and then you released a last platform game on the same day.
right? Um, yeah, no, that was pretty. Anyway, but he was just such an interesting twist on everything because he's a Templar, assassin turned Templar, and he had one of my favorite, like low key, one of my favorite stories in Assassin's Creed. It was very short, but it was also very satisfying, and it made us look at the Templars in a much different light. And it made us look at some of the characters that were in Assassin's Creed 3 differently too. Like oh my gosh, the mentor. I can't remember his name right now.
Achilles.
But yeah, Achilles. I was like, because like at first when you play Assassin's Creed 3 and you're just like, yeah, Achilles, he's the mentor character and stuff like that. Sure, I'm assuming he's made mistakes in the past, but then you play Rogue and you're like, oh my god, like that's you know maybe you definitely deserve walking. Okay,
Walking with the limp.
yeah, because like holy cow, you killed so many people. Spoiler alert! I'm sorry, the game came out like I don't know 15 years ago, whatever. But mm, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say Shay McCormick. Shay Cormac. That's my number 6.
He makes his own luck.
He makes his own luck. I,
That's the only part of that character that I don't like is the amount of times I make
no,
my own luck.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, no, I actually, I'm not one of the people that thinks Rogue is the underrated Assassin's Creed. I thought that was a little overplayed, but I didn't mind Shay. Assassin's Creed has a really hard time with, like I just said, sequels do a really good job of developing your character. For
oh,
some reason, after 3, they stopped giving their characters sequels, and it
what?
drives me nuts. I don't know. I think a character that I think deserved a sequel, but I'm actually kind of glad he didn't get one. Um, I'm gonna throw a little left field here. Nico Bellic from Grand Theft Auto 4.
Oh my god, yo, I
I
love Nico.
I genuinely think Nico is not a part of the best Grand Theft Auto game, but is given the best Grand Theft Auto story. Like the fact
Oh,
that he's this Eastern European, he fought in some war that's undisclosed,
Serbian
obviously
War, the
fictional.
war.
Yeah, it's probably a fictional war. It's Rockstar, but he he's part of this war, and then he joins a Russian mafia, and then like I love that he's like I want to go join the American dream, and the American dream is tarnished
Mm-hmm.
because he immigrates himself over there and has to become a crime lord in New York, or sorry, um,
Liberty
Liberty
City.
City. And I love his disgruntled character and the fact that like he gets angrier and angrier because he's like, I came here for the American dream and I'm doing the American thing, and I'm still over here selling drugs and killing crime lords. Like this is what I try to get away from in Russia. And dude, I don't get me wrong. Again, I say I'm glad he didn't get a sequel because the sequel was GTA 5, and
Right,
I would not give up GTA 5. But I think Nico is a better character than anything Grand Theft Auto has brought. And who knows, GTA 6 actually looks like it's taking the Red Dead Redemption 2 route and having a little more focus on the linear narrative that's involved in Grand Theft
right,
Auto, even though it's not a linear narrative, obviously. But
right.
I don't know, man. If they put the creative touch that they did with Nico, I think he's a very underrated video game character. Not saying a Grand Theft Auto character, but just an underrated video game character because he's one of the only Grand Theft Auto characters that has like an in-depth background.
Right.
And GTA 5 did the thing where it plays on the satire of westernized civilization. It
Right,
plays on the fact that we're a bunch of drug addict Americans and then we commit crimes and speed, and that's the whole point of Grand Theft Auto, right? But Nico was the first time I think I played a Grand Theft Auto game with an actual purpose, what he was doing in the crime organization in Liberty City and what he was trying to achieve.
You know
Went on
something?
from there.
You know something? I didn't even think about that. But like you're actually you're absolutely right. Like you could say it could be argued that he's the only Grand Theft Auto character. Okay, I haven't played like what Grand Theft Auto stories or whatever. I've never played any of those, but um, he may be the only Grand Theft Auto character that has a heart. As weird as that is to say, because he is still a GTA protagonist. And he does terrible things, and you can make him do terrible things too as a when you're free roaming and stuff. But I'm saying like as a character, yeah, he may be one of the only ones that actually has a heart because like every other GTA character that I can think of, they kind of go from like a rags to riches type of story.
Yep.
He kind of goes from rags to he doesn't necessarily like go to riches. He kind of just tries to have a happy ending. You know, okay, not like
He
that, but
tries to and fails. That's
yeah,
like kind of the point.
yeah,
And I
man,
think
that's a
GTA
great,
5
good one. Dang,
GTA 5 kind of tried to do that. And again, it's not that anybody in GTA 5 is bad. GTA 5 is a phenomenal game,
oh yeah,
including its characters. Trevor was like a prime example of we can go darker.
oh yeah,
Like I still remember the first time I played the torture scene with Trevor, where you
yeah,
torture that guy with the car battery and everything. And I remember like feeling uncomfortable pressing the buttons, like
right, yeah.
rip out his tooth. I was like, I don't really want to.
Have
uh,
you played the PlayStation 5 yet? When you have the haptic feedback?
ooh, yeah,
Oh man, it's a little rough.
it's gruesome.
Yeah.
And I saved my what I would think like I can't rank any of the other ones, but what I think is my all time favorite character. What I think is my all time favorite character of all time is bringing back Assassin's Creed is Ezio Auditore. Ezio Auditore da Firenze, my friend. I think, and what it is my point exactly is utilizing sequels to build your character. Ezio is the most in. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If you got somebody else as a better example, but I think Ezio in media, not just video games, is the most developed character in media. We literally, whether it's through video games, short stories, books, whatever, see Ezio from his birth to his death and every damn near everything in between. Because the first Assassin's Creed game is what 20 years, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Assassin's Creed 2 goes over 20 years
Yes, it does.
from his birth, and then you see him at 17, and then it goes through after his family's killed, and you come up through there. Ezio is by far the number one character that goes from this pompous 17-year-old kid who starts seeking revenge for the death of his family. That
Hmm.
revenge turns into a higher purpose, which is why he joins the Brotherhood that his father was a part of. And then as he joins the Brotherhood, he realizes that the Brotherhood has its flaws and that they need a mentor. So he becomes the mentor of the assassins. Since Altair, he's the wisest, right? And then he goes off and he develops brotherhoods in other countries and other regions of the world throughout the Renaissance. And then, of course, as he gets older, we see him in Revelations when he goes and fights off the Ottoman Empire, and he's trying to learn the purpose of the creed, and he tries to find Altair's library. And then when you see him hang up the cape at the end of Revelations, when he's talking to Desmond, when he's like, I know you hear me, Desmond, I know you're there, and he knows he's been this personification of something for somebody else in a future that he can't understand. I genuinely think that Ezio is a character. I mean, for the early 2000s, he was the face of Game Informer, and he was the face of. He's the reason Assassin's Creed exists still today, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how Assassin's Creed still exists, but
I agree. Actually, he's on my list too. So I'm glad you brought him up. I have to think about that a little bit more about if he's the most developed because you said that perfectly. Like yeah, from his birth to his death, we've seen everything there is about him, and then in the extra, and I don't know if you've read the books of Assassin's Creed of those that time frame of
a few.
yeah. So it goes into real depth about like his mindset and everything like that too. So yeah, man, I'm not sure if he is the most developed person in media, but I would not be surprised if he is because that's a really good one. I never really thought about it that way.
That, and I'm very impressed of Roger Craig Smith as the actor, because when
Mhm.
you play the beginning of AC2 and he's 17, he sounds like a 17-year-old.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like a kid. And I remember when the game came out, I thought that was two different voice actors that had like a similarity. No, that's Roger Craig Smith
He's just that talented.
leveling his voice to sound like he's 17. And then you play in Revelations and he's got that low Italian, like he's really. I love that, and to be honest, I think he has one of the better video game lines ever with the "Requiescat in pace." I love that dude. I
Like,
don't know, he's the reason I became an Assassin's Creed fan. Was Ezio.
oh yeah, same. Because I played Assassin's Creed 2 before I played Assassin's Creed 1. Um, and which don't get me wrong, I love Assassin's Creed 1 and Altair, obviously, but like Assassin's Creed 2 was my intro to the game, to the franchise, and I've loved it ever since for the most part until, but you know, but yeah, no, I have Ezio Auditore da Firenze on my list too, but for my final one, I would just say Bruce Wayne, Batman from the Arkham series.
You're talking
Uh,
specifically that Bruce Wayne, right?
that Bruce Wayne,
Okay.
not Batman from Suicide Squad, Kill the Bat. I don't even want to talk about that, but but uh, I absolutely love um, Kevin Conroy as Batman. Um,
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And because I think he's the person who got Batman, who got Bruce Wayne, like, and you can feel a passion in his voice as he speaks, and then also just the story from Arkham, from as much as Arkham Knight kind of isn't as good as Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. I don't get me wrong, I got hundreds of hours in Arkham Knight. Don't get me wrong, I love Arkham Knight. But I will say that yeah, I didn't really like the whole tank thing that kind of like went overboard. But the story from Arkham Asylum all the way through Night is just I love it. I love how Bruce Wayne is just he's consistently or sorry how um excuse me Kevin Conroy is just consistently Batman throughout the whole thing, and he's just I wish I could emulate the voice right now and just be like, but I can't do it. I'm not even gonna try. But yeah, I love, and also I'm a big Batman fan too, so I might be a little biased. But
I've always loved Kevin Conroy, even in the animated series, dude. Like
yes,
he embodies that. He is probably going to forever be that character, and I know we say that a lot because, of course, now he's passed on. But at the same time, it's like we really can't get another thing. I mean, Mark Hamill has been quoted of saying he only signed on for more Batmans to play as the Joker
Mhm.
because Kevin was on board.
Yeah,
He has been quoted to say, like, if Kevin's doing it, I'm doing it, because they had a chemistry that worked really well. And I think in Arkham City, you see that chemistry far more. And I'm gonna be one of the people that said, like, everybody hated on Arkham Knight a little too hard upon its release. I and don't get me wrong, I agree with the whole tank thing. I think, dude, I think really what it is the freaking tank thing. That's like the only thing anybody brings up when you're like, well, why don't you like Arkham Knight? And they're like, well, the tank missions. And it's like, anything else? Kind of. The whole Jason Todd thing was a little weird, and I'm like, I must have been the only one that really loved that because
I love I love I love the fact that he was that Jason Todd came back as the I don't know I enjoyed I don't think I've had more fun fighting than in fighting as Batman than in Arkham Knight. Sure, Arkham City is great and all, but I don't know. They perfected like it started off like the concept was gold in Arkham Asylum. You know they made it platinum. I don't know what's next, and then they just made it perfection. The combat um, in Arkham Knight. So yeah, platinum in City, and then just perfection. But yeah, those are my eight.
I mean, just the way they perfected the free flow. Well, they didn't perfect it; they invented it. The invention of the free flow combat system. If I could
Mhm.
freaking speak, um, man, that shit just rolls well. It just rolls well, and the amount of games that have emulated it is just fantastic. It's not my number one. I already said Ezio, but we said eight, and I'm down one because we both shared Arthur and Kratos. I think. I got to put my man Joel Miller on there from The Last of Us. because
Oh, me too.
I
Well,
love
I
Joel.
thought we already talked about it, but I guess we didn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. Joel, you got to be up there. Come on, man. You can't. You
Joel
can't. Joel.
Joel is a prime example of being, he's just a man. Like he really is just a man. No, whether he's a good man or not is a completely hour long debatable conversation in its own right. But he's definitely, as somebody who has a child,
Mhm.
um, I can't even wrap my head around losing that child, let alone losing that child and then immediately go into 20 years of an apocalypse right after that with no break, no mourning, no nothing. Just get after it and start surviving the minute your daughter dies. So it's incredibly impressive how this disgruntled old man has kept himself together and survived and developed internal relationships with people, and to see it all turn around back to that fatherly figure when Ellie comes in as sort of the surrogate daughter throughout the story. Man, I just got to give it to Joel. Plus, dude, I love Troy Baker.
Troy Baker's just he's
He just kills it, dude. I don't know what it is. He just got that perfect voice. Just every time he comes in, he's, "What are you doing, kiddo?" I'm like, ah, man, I can't. I melt.
yeah.
But I think to kind of wrap this up, a lot of these video game characters, we've mentioned every character on this list is almost, I think the youngest character on this list was Arthur Morgan,
Yeah.
and that's still 2018, or at least the list that I gave. And I'm wondering if we're just caught up in nostalgia or what it is, but I can't help but worry that we're not getting these massively well developed characters anymore, because I'm trying to think of a character within the last 2 maybe 3 years that is just, you know,
Yeah.
perfectly developed. But I don't know, like Ezio is 2007, you know what I mean, and I have yet to find a character. Leon Kennedy is 1998,
Right.
you know, 99. I mean, obviously the Leon Kennedy that I love is more like 2004 2005, but um I am a little worried that characters are kind of going out the window.
Mm. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Dang, I'm trying to think. Yeah, because like, man, uh, I suppose you know something. I mean, I do need to play more games and stuff if I just had the dang
True,
time.
true.
I do hear lots of good things about a lot of the newer characters in or maybe not newer characters, but characters in Final Fantasy. I never really played many Final Fantasy games growing up, so I just never really got into it. And at this point, they're on like what 20. I'm like, I don't even know where do I start? Do I start it? Someone's like, oh yeah, you can start at 15. You're fine. Like, geez, what?
Well,
So
you can, because each story is different,
yeah.
which makes it even more confusing. But
Uh,
I don't know. I
but
played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Cloud. Cloud's a cool character. I'm not gonna say he's not, but he's not gonna make this top 8.
yeah, yeah,
And technically, Cloud is a like 20-year-old character or 25-year-old character.
true. So man, yeah, I guess I'll have to think about that a little bit more. Because like you said, I guess Deacon St. John. Well, did we even talk about? No,
I mean, we talked about Days Gone, but I
yeah,
wouldn't put Deacon on that list either.
I wouldn't put Deacon
I'm
on
not
the list.
saying characters aren't good. Like I enjoy Aloy. Um,
Aloy, I enjoyed first. I enjoyed the first game, Aloy.
True.
Yeah.
Not there's a ladder, better hop it. Like,
Oh dear God.
yeah, I don't know. But that's our characters. That's where we're at. These are my favorite characters of all time, and I really hope that games continue to develop these amazing characters and these relationships that we have with these medias. And sign us off, bro.
Well, that is two highly caffeinated individuals' opinions. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Whether or not you agree, just do me a favor and let us be great.
Enough said.